Hello everyone and welcome back to the Rachelle Anne Miller YouTube channel. Today I'm featuring the Holiday Birds, which is an incredible digital stamp, a Christmas digital stamp. I already created 3 cards, this included with it. I think it's just so much fun. You can do so many different directions. And I actually did with the 3 cards that I created. So if you want more inspiration, go check out the website. There for each digital stamp there is tons of inspiration by design team and previous design team members. It's really cute and inspiring to check it out. There's also Instagram and of course a Facebook group where you can find everything. Now I wanted these lamps to glow, and so I actually started by doing a bit of ink blending just to have like a reference. So I use some distress inks. They aren't going to be the main color. I'm going to go over it with Copics, but I just needed like a little bit of a guide. For the birds, I'm going with browns, and they will actually have 2 tones of browns. So the ones that are still white, they will be light brown, and then we have the darker ones that I'm coloring right now. I'm also going to do a really simple background. The lovely thing with the sky is that for me personally, I love it when I see like a skyline with different gradients of colors, and it doesn't have to be like smooth one color into the other. You can see lines, you can see some clouds if you want to, definitely. And so the background that I'm going to create later on is really simple. It's with one of my favorite blue combinations, and well, it's just drawing in lines until your background is filled up. And the only difficult part about it is to try to avoid going into the images. And for the rest, it's really easy, and anyone can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. That's definitely like the idea behind it. Okay, so in case you want to revisit color combinations, you can always find them down below in the description box here, but you can also find them on my blog post, which is also linked to in the description box. So I'm blending the birds. The darker birds are E47, E57, and E33, and the lighter ones are E33, E53, and E51. For the accessories later on, I'm only going to use reds. Of course, the leaves I will do a bit of green, but the accessories mainly are red. It's just to keep it kind of simple. I also will be referring back to that red in the sentiment. So here on the lights, I already added a bit of a darker color, blending it out with a lighter one. And then later on, I will even go over like glow around it. So here I am actually doing circles around the lights. I'm also going into the birds, not a ton, but I am going into it the same way a lamp would like glow on top of images or pieces or birds. So next, for the background, well, the yellow had to be a tiny bit muted in my opinion, and around the lights I wanted like a lighter brown because we have like the glow, and then I want to go darker further away. So that's what I did here. Also, something that I can recommend that I didn't do is to to already indicate just how far your panel is going, because I had to fix up a few areas that were still white, that I thought I didn't need it, but I needed it. You will see that later on, normally. So here, just make sure to take your time when you go around the images, but truly it's a really simple way to create a background. You can do that with all your color families. And of course, if you keep your background or the markers that you're using in the same color family, the blend or the transition will go easier. You can of course do like a really rainbow kind of background, which is really cute, but that will be a bit harder. It's it's not possible or impossible, but it's just a bit more going back and forth, and that's just perfectly fine as well. So here I'm just making sure to really go around the images, um, and then I will go back and forth more to get like the blend, and I will add some darker blues as well. Um, but just here, take your time. These are cute images, definitely the ones that are lighter. It will be hard to cover up like the darker blues if you get into the image itself. And I will also be adding some splatters to represent snow. That is also something that is kind of forgiving as well. So if you're unsure about something, a background like this, um, just adding the splatters is already going to break a bit the idea of the background. And that way, if you have some hiccups, it will be kind of less important. It will not be that visible because with everything going on, it just seems complete. On the scarf and the head here, I'm just coloring it with reds. I am going to take my white Jelly Roll pen later on and get those details back in. Like the head, there are some stripes on it, and the scarf, there are dots. I love it, but it's really, really hard to avoid all of those things while coloring with the Copics. Personally, I find that it's really hard. And for the head, it's just that the lines are really, really small and thin. It's easier to go back over it with a white jelly roll pen. That's way finer the nib than the ones from the Copic. So therefore, adding a bit of a darker blue also on the bottom. Finally, well, finally, in the end, I actually die cut the images lower, so the darker blue on the bottom is not that visible, but you know that it was there, so that's important. So I just went over the eyes of the birds a tiny bit. My printer isn't working that well lately. There isn't any sign of not enough ink, so I don't get it. But for the eyes of critters, I really find it important that they show up. So therefore, I just added a bit of black. I also added the white jelly roll pen to just add some shimmer to all of the eyes. And then, as I said, I'm just getting those details back into the image um, on the scarf and the hat. There we go. Working again on those lamps. Well, with the glow around, I just needed a bit of a darker color for the light itself. I'm also going to add a bit of gold here. I'm doing that with a bit of ink. It's the only thing that I have gold, kind of. I just need a jelly roll pen that has the gold. Um, but this is like paint that I will be using, so I am not diluting it. I am taking it right from the cap. Um, that way I don't want it to be too moist, because this paper, Transodite Perfect Coloring Paper, is great for alcohol markers, but it is not that great with water. So I just needed that gold to like add right above the lamps, little lights. And then I will also use that black pen again to add in more details where the paint is going over the lines itself. It's it's hard to avoid that, but it's easy to fix. So I'm just doing that where necessary. And then I think all of the coloring is done. I am going to use the frame Worthy Mini Slimline by Crafty Rocky, which is one of my favorite slimline dies. Truly, it gives a nice frame. It's the perfect size. Um, so that I will be adding, well, die cutting later on. I'm first going to add that snow that I talked about previously. So I have here a tiny acrylic block dedicated to my gouache, white gouache, because I'm running out of it, and actually I wasn't I wasn't being smart about it because I was each time adding it to an acrylic block, cleaning it off, next time again adding, and there was always something left. And now I just reactivate the thing that was left from previously with some water, and that way I can reuse it without throwing anything away, and I'm still surviving. So as you can see here, and as I said previously, I didn't go all the way to the edge where I needed to go for this. It was a tiny thing to fix. So I just did that, and then I'm going to die cut the panel out. I will have this weird frame with some scribbles on it, but I'm going to die cut it again so that I can have like a white frame around it. The white to reunite with the white of the snow, but also with tiny details on the head and the scarf. Here still adding some color where there wasn't enough. And of course, since I already did some ink splattering, I'm going over those white areas, but here, white jelly roll pen, you can again get that white to shine through if you want to or need to. So yeah, there were a lot of tiny boo-boos that I had to correct for this card. It's also why it took a bit of more time, I think, but I'm happy that I did. So now for the card itself, so I need a mini slimline card panel. Wow, the words are just slipping through. Here I have my second frame, so I'm just going to use some liquid glue. I'm going to add it on top of each other. And then the only thing that it's left for me is like the sentiment, and for the rest I have all of the elements already prepped. There we go. A bit more dimension. You can also add a white frame just with some thicker adhesive, like foam adhesive, foam strips or anything like that. You can do that as well. But you can also layer on top of each other. It's also a bit more sturdy. I even contemplated about creating a shaker card with this one, because with this frame as well, you can just add some acetate behind, have some shaker material behind, like snowy kind of vibes. But I didn't do that in the end. I think there was already enough going on. For the sentiment, I used the Oliver Alpha die by Hello Bluebird, which is one of my favorite alphabet dies. It's a really, really lovely one. It's elegant, but it's big enough, and so on. So I die cut it from the Cranberry cardstock by Concord 9th, which is my favorite red cardstock so far. I die cut it twice to just make sure that I had enough. I think if I would have wanted to put it like there on the top as I showed, that the white was better because it would stand out more from that blue, and again everything would tie together. But I'm going to add it finally on the bottom and on the corner like thing. Now I got this idea to just add a bit of snow as well to the leathers, and I took my white jelly roll pen here, and I said it in previous videos that I created, I don't know, here or on my channel, but the white jelly roll pen, I was getting frustrated about it. I got some great tips. I think it was on my channel, but well, I still had this one laying around. It took me a while to activate it, but I actually drew on the snow with this pen. Finally, it went way smoother than the white jelly roll pen. I also added some dots of snow on the letters. It was a bit translucent. I don't know if I activated it enough, if I shook like the pen enough or not, but I went over it once it was dry to make sure that it was really, really white. So yeah. The only thing about this pen is that I'm not convinced for like white jelly roll pen details on critters if it's thin enough. So therefore I haven't used it yet for that reason specifically. I also got another white pen from my brother for my birthday. I still have to use it or test it out, but I'm hopeful to have like an alternative for the white gel roll pen that I'm currently using, because it's just getting on my nerves. Okay, so here I'm just layering the letters, making sure that I have the ones that I have like decorated on the top, and I'm using my acrylic block to press it down really well, and then we will assemble everything together. So here, as I said, I went over it. Only it was a bit dry, and it's perfectly stark white now. So I'm really happy with how that turned out. Let's take that card base, score it well. My card bases aren't perfect for like mini slimlines. So I actually score them, then I add my mini slimline, and then I trim down the panel. So you can see the extra that I have left on the right side. I'm going to trim that down later on, but this way I'm perfectly sure that my panel or my card base is the perfect size. So I'm just adding everything together like so. Then we will take that guillotine here and just snipping it off. There we go. And now just the sentiments. I think that's truly the only thing left to add to this card. I took my time to make sure that it was aligned straight. I think with a card with not a lot on it, even though you have your complete background, it's really important to have those elements right. So take your time to align everything. Try to have the same white area in between the letters and have it right straight on top of that card. Just making sure here that everything is well placed. I can still wiggle it around a bit. It's with liquid glue. And once it's done, my card is finished. I'm really glad with how this turned out. I'm really sorry for the delay of this video, but here it is. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and of course that you like the end result. Thank you so much for being here and supporting this channel. I wish you all an incredible day, and I'll be back soon with some more craft inspiration. Bye!